I'm Racers Marshall Pruett. We have qualifying done for Sunday's Children's of Alabama NTT IndyCar Series race at Barber Motorsports Park. Romain Grosjean, 50% strike rate so far this year on pole, taking that for Andretti Autosport. But right behind him, we have Chip Ganassi Racing's Alex Palou. And who else do we have? Well, we have Mr. Chip Ganassi Racing, Scott Dixon. Dixie, P5. Not pole, but you can work from there for sure. Tell me about your qualifying session.
Yeah, it was definitely a pretty interesting couple of days. I think, our car honestly has been kind of the top 4 or 5 all weekend in every session, which is really nice. The consistency's been good. I think we actually favor the blacks at the moment, which maybe might be good for the race, but It seems like every time we're in a session with just blacks, we're either P1 or P2. So we'll have to see how that plays out. I feel like yesterday too, when we did the first red run, we just kind of, for whatever reason, couldn't get the balance, correct. But a decent day, it was great to see Alex, very quick up there. A bit bummed that the other two didn't make it through, because I think they've definitely got potential as well. But, congrats to Grosjean. He's done a hell of a job and was definitely very fast today. But tomorrow should be an interesting race, man.
Dix, if everything goes normally like it did for you in the Fast 6, probably going to be on a 2-stopper. We'll probably try and get off the alternate tires, the red banded tires, as quickly as you can. But you mentioned some of the others who didn't quite have a great qualifying. Marcus Ericsson starting, I think, 13th. Colton Herta's back there. Kirkwood. There's a lot of fast drivers who have ground to make up. They're probably going to be going to some sort of 3-stop or alternate strategy. What's that like for you up front, knowing you might have more of a normal day plan, but there are a lot of wild cards behind you? Do you factor that into your thinking at all?
Yeah, I think there's definitely a couple of different ways to look at that, right? We've gone to the 2021 tire, the red especially, that has got a whole lot more deg than 22. So I think 22, you saw a lot of the guys that maybe got knocked out in run 1 could go black, red, or, black, red, they used 2 sets of new reds, which I think was definitely the preferred tire last year, especially for outlaps, and then they actually lasted really well. But I think if you look at 21 race, the only reason everybody went kind of the distance on, that first set of reds was because they had a caution. It was a very long caution, I think 7 or 8 laps, which made, getting to that kind of round number of lap 30 for fuel and for tire stint pretty efficient. So I think if we get no caution at the start, to try and do 30 laps, maybe with this high deg tire, is going to be pretty tough. And I think that's going to separate maybe, some of the teams with less deg, which, I'd like to say maybe favors a team like ours, where our deg is normally pretty good. But will, kind of hurt the guys at the back that maybe have those 2 sets of reds, just because it might not be the preferred tire. So I don't know, like I hope it's mixed. I hope the deg is pretty high, and we can, you may all have to jump to a 3-stopper.
Let's close on that, Dick. So the thing that's been one of the hallmarks of your career is dealing with oversteer, dealing with tires that aren't as happy as they once were. You on a steering wheel without having perfect grip is a thing of beauty. Do you enjoy a challenge like that might be coming tomorrow, where you need to put your skills to work to make crazy fast lap times while holding on to a beast that's trying to introduce the backside to a barrier? Because you got a bunch of folks around you who are also just animals in that regard.
I think every race is tough now, man. I think, a lot of the teams now have got good at everything, right? So you do see the occasional person that maybe misses it. I think when you have a smaller window to hit it right, like maybe we will tomorrow with the reds, it will definitely be much more interesting. And I hope that's true. One for the race, which I think, when we first came to Barber Motorsports Park, we're like, man, this is going to be a horrible race. And it's turned out to be one of our best races that we have on road courses throughout the years. So, deg will hopefully be a factor on the reds early on, and hopefully we'll be in the right seat and hanging on to it at the right time. But I think, you got to try and underdrive it a lot on those tires, man. You got to try and be nice and calm, which is not always necessarily my forte.
I was going to say, what's that like? Because maximum attack is your thing, but do you have to cage that animal? How do you do that? Because look, I got 2 cats walking around who want to be fed right now and will eat me if I don't. What do you do with that thing inside you that wants to eat everyone in front of you?
Yeah, I think it depends on who you're racing at the time. Like I think even Long Beach, there's those factors in the race that kind of shift pretty quickly from one lap to the next. You might be feeling like you're pretty well covered, and then it changes very fast. So, you know, it is really a constant of trying to underdrive the car to make sure you do get to that pit window, but do it in a way that you hopefully can try and pass some cars too, especially with where we're starting in P5. But, you know, the undercut's always pretty strong too, or the overcut, you know, whichever way you can try and make it work, which especially at Alabama, I've lost a race here or two trying to do that as well. So, you know, I don't know. I'm excited about tomorrow, man. I think it's going to be a fun race.
Yeah, I can't wait. 90 laps here, NBC. Thanks again to Skip Barber and the Skip Barber Racing School for supporting all of our videos this weekend. Dix will be watching, and who knows, maybe we'll be speaking tomorrow from Victory Lane.
Awesome. Thanks, man. Thanks, Marshall.